Chris Paul into Alvarado, works his way, fouled, shot. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. It's Chris Paul into Alvarado, works his way, fouled, shot. To the spot he wanted, and making that. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. It's Chris. Spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. It's Chris Paul into Alvarado, works his way. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. It's Chris Paul into Alvarado, works his way, fouled, shot. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. It's Chris Paul into Alvarado, works his way, fouled, shot. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. It's Chris Paul into Alvarado, works his way, fouled, shot. To the spot he wanted, and making that shot all series. It's Chris Paul into
What's the deal, y'all? Welcome back to some old school balling.
shot.
We just finished up the first round of the NBA playoffs, and I definitely wanted to put some attention to this, where the NBA is just
To the spot he wanted.
the degradation of the NBA. I would have to say it's just been slowly becoming more and more corrupt, where a lot of these players are flaunting their power, star power, whatever you want to call it. It's become a lot of politics, a lot of just whoever, the funding and the endorsement, sponsorships. Obviously, it's Chris Paul, holds a lot of weight with that, with ESPN and State Farm and their sponsorships, and what they pretty much ram down the throat of the public for you to believe. I still refuse to call him a point guard. No. No. I mean, he hasn't won any championships. He's been a good player, but there's been a lot of great players in the past who unfortunately have accomplished more than he has, man. I mean, let's just call it like it is. But they just feel like, people are brain dead, and if you just put enough stuff in the media over and over and over, then people start to believe it is truth. But what we need to do is look at the facts, man. He's a dirty player, man. He's been, I mean, I can respect his game, but he's a dirty player and has been for a while, man. He gets away with this stuff all the time, probably because he's the head of the player foundation, and he holds weight with that. But this is not the first time in this game that he blatantly got away with, like, look at that, straight elbows Alvarado in the mouth, dude, straight up, like intentionally elbows him in the mouth. That was not the first time he did it in this game, and he kneed him in the groin. I mean, he's just been doing excessively dirty plays, man, over and over, dude, and he just gets away with it. Like, if somebody elbowed him like that, he would be crying, he would be making sure that everybody is fine. I mean, where are his fines at? He should have been ejected from this game early on, man, and he just pushes the boundaries because he knows nobody's gonna test him, man. And it's unfortunate, man, that it's just like this game was really getting out of hand. Let's see, for whatever reason, anytime I try to play these videos, it just goes green. I can't really show them to you. I have to put them in the lowest quality. But here, look at this, Devin Booker right here, elbows. Look at that. The announcer even says, "Down goes Valanciunas, holding his back, writhing in pain." I mean, this is live on TV. if you see it again, Booker elbows Valanciunas directly in the back on the spine right there. See? That's a dirty play, man. That's not a basketball play. That's not a box out. That's a straight elbow right to his lower back. Like, again, if somebody did that to Booker, it would have been all hell break loose. So, like, Phoenix is just lucky that they're not playing another bully team, man. That could have just straight took it to a scrap, man. Like, honestly, like, somebody needs to deck CP one time and let him know what the deal is. And unfortunately, he wouldn't be doing that shit no more. Same thing right there. Like, Booker literally elbows Valanciunas while he's not looking right in the back. I mean, the job of these are basically the authority on the field. They saw it. And then a foul gets called on Ingram afterwards. Look at this. You're looking right here. He's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. He straight elbows him right in the back, dude. It's so dirty, man. And that first elbow that was assessed retroactively to Chris Paul for elbowing on Alvarado, it wasn't even that. And before that, he even elbows him, man. It's crazy. Like, here, let's see. They call this a jump shot. Oh, here we go again with this shit. Hold on. Again, watch Alvarado right here. Chris Paul literally just straight hits him in the face with the elbow. Again, this is before. I mean, this is not the first time. Right here, watch Paul. Again, right in front of the official. The official's like, I'll allow it. He's calling for anybody. Who's going to do something about it? Nobody, dude. Nobody. Nobody's going to do anything about it. Watch Paul. Elbows him again. Literally just throws his elbow up, right? Watch Paul. He literally throws his elbow up twice at him, man. But if somebody did that to Chris Paul, he would be crying. He'd be screaming to the refs over and over. He elbowed him right there twice in the face. Did it and then did it again. And then does it again. Like, at this point, they're just feeling the pressure, man. He just can't take the fact that he can't be an actual sportsman, man, because anytime stuff gets tough, all the dude's doing is actually playing some defense on him, but he can't take it because he thinks he's this superstar. Like him, Luka, they be doing all these favored athletes take advantage of their power with the NBA and their fanship base and the authority. It's ridiculous, man. Like, play ball, man. They're just mad because they were getting outballed. So they revert to these political tactics, unsportsmanlike conduct. It's unbelievable, man. Like, really, somebody's gonna have to just strong arm them, man. And that's why they couldn't hang. That's exactly why they couldn't hang with the Bucks, because they can't do that shit. The Bucks took them to the weight room, man, and they know it. They're not strong enough to pull this bullshit tactics again. Like, honestly, like, you have to show, unfortunately, you have to not respect you can't respect your competition. I mean, it's a respect in a healthy way, but you can't be like, oh, that's Chris Paul, or oh, that's Devin Booker. You can't be like, you got to be a competitor, man. You're there as a contender, you're there to compete. You got to bring the heat, you got to bring the funk, you got to bring all your strength, all your power, man. I mean, you can't be first off, I keep saying the authorities because that's exactly what the referees are. They need to keep that shit on lock. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, to let stuff like that slide and not get fined. Chris Paul should have been ejected from this game numerous times, and he just couldn't take the pressure. Like, look at this right here. This is with 2:35. Alvarado here. See right here, he's setting it up. Boom, trips him, and then he flops. He should be fined for excessive flopping. He does this all the time. Chris Paul does this all the time. So he knew at some point your skills ain't enough. You need to start going into funding and political influence, and that's exactly why he does what he does, man. Because he knows, he learned early on in the league that his skill is not going to be enough to get him where he wants to go. And now he's just, unfortunately, has reverted to these dirty, grimy ass tactics all the time, every game. From now on, look at how many times Chris Paul cries and whines to the refs and flops in a game. It's excessive. Now, like right here, you can see it's intentional. You see him he knows it's coming. He's setting it up. He tries to get the leg out, trips him with the other leg, and then flops. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, dude. Like, look at this, a clear flop from what he set up. Look. Again, watch his legs here. Watch his legs. Trip. and then falls and flops, trying to look at the ref. Oh, you like me, right? You like me. You want to call something for me, right? It's crazy, dude. Watch it again. Watch it again. Look, a literal trip right here. This is unsportsmanlike conduct. Again, a straight trip, and then he tries to act like, oh, I got tripped. It's crazy, dude. He should have been ejected for a flagrant 2 a long time in this game, man. But they just want to act like he's got star power. He's not a point guard, dude. It's not. It's nowhere near that, dude. Nowhere near. It's just he just has too much sponsorship and influence right now. It's getting out of hand, dude. Like, is he a good player? Yes, he's a good player. But it stops at that, man. He's not one of the greatest of all times. All this, it's a bandwagon and sponsorship and funding and political influence, and you gotta call it what it is. It's public relations. And is he good at public relations? Yes, he is, obviously, because he's getting away with these blatant, flagrant fouls right in front of your face on everybody in live TV, and nobody, not even the referees, are going to do anything about it. It's fucking crazy, dude. Crazy. Now, this is unfortunately McCollum, the lost ball turnover here, with about a minute and 33 to go, roughly. I think this is a little bit after we have to run it back, but I believe that McCollum was a great addition to this squad, but he really brings a lot of bad habits from his Portland Trailblazer team, and you can see it here. You can see the pressure of the defensive pressure. It really gets to him mentally. You can see it, and he always reverts to shooting a long contested 3, which is really, and especially in the playoffs, it's not good basketball. First of all, ever, honestly, unless you're wide open and you're a solid 3-point shooter, you have less than half of a chance to make it. I mean, let's be honest. If you're honest about the statistics and percentages, that's the way it goes. You're half as likely to hit the 3-point shot, which is crazy, and everybody wants to bank on that. It's unbelievable still. So he brings a lot of those bad habits to where people nowadays in the NBA, they just want to hit the game-winning 3 even when they're down by 1. Go for a 3. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, play smart basketball, get your team on the board, keep your team in the game. I mean, that has to be your mentality. That has to be what you're thinking in the moment, to keep your team in the game, to put pressure on the rim, on the refs, on the defense, in the paint. You can't just be forcing up these brick 3s all the time. But right here you can see they blitz them. And I think this was the turning point here in the game. You see they're still down by 2. Right here. Like, that's just a mental mistake. Like, man, like, especially as a veteran point guard, you don't believe, or a veteran guard. I mean, I say he's a point guard, but right here, like, you pick up your dribble. He shouldn't have picked up his dribble first off. And it just throws away the game. Now, I'm not blaming it on McCollum. I mean, there's obviously, but I feel this is a huge turning point in the game here. So right here, see right here, I mean, he has the pick. He has the pick and roll option. It shouldn't have gone to this point. He shouldn't have picked up his dribble, if anything. And look at how you see right here, he gets the blitz, and then he just panics. He literally brings the ball through 2 defenders, a little bit weak. See there? He tries to go through, and he didn't get the benefit of the call again here. But still, just I would say a rookie mistake, but it's McCollum. I mean, it's the pressure for all the marbles here. And unfortunately, that was the turning point, I believe. You're still only down by 4 at that point, but it just got out of hand at this point, and this is where it just got even worse from there. Like, from what we saw here of Chris Paul knowing that the game was on the line, and he reverts to elbowing him in the face because he knows he's a rookie. He's going to get the call over him. Look at him. Straight elbows him in the chin because he knows this is the critical point in the game, and they get the win. It's just unbelievable the way that this works, man. It's just, they really need to do something about that, man. It's just, it's disgusting, man. To be honest, like, there's no more just fair play in sports, man. It's really all politics and influence, public relations, funding. It's money wars, like every sport has, and I think it really had a lot of the detriment came since the implementation of betting, basically tight knitted with the sport. I mean, it was always there, of course, but now just flaunting it with every commercial, and then, oh, if you have a problem with betting, then call this number. Okay, we did our public service announcement. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Somebody needs to. It just goes to show you that money and influence and power is really the majority of what goes into this into sports, man. Unfortunately, you hate to see it. I hate to see it. Some people don't care or don't even know or just be blind to this altogether. But anyway, it definitely needed to be said because this is not the first time. He literally was bringing the ball up and brings his elbow up to hit Alvarado in the chin prior to this, and nothing happens. But anybody else, they stopped. And this was within 2 minutes too, within the 2 minute time span at the end of the game, and nothing happened. So you can tell there's some money at play there. It's just unbelievable how this is working out nowadays, and it's really just made me. I don't even want to say it, but let's go back here to the wrap up of the game. So it's been unbelievable. Again, this was quite the fight that New Orleans Pelicans put up, man. My hat goes off to them, and much respect to the New Orleans Pelicans, especially for turning around the season in the way they did. Their season seemed to be falling apart. I mean, they had a horrendous start. Their start was less than favorable, to say the least. It was terrible, but they really steered the ship around and kind of got them a new captain too. But Ingram, man, for me, I think still, even with the Phoenix Suns being in the finals last year, I still think that Brandon Ingram is the best player on that court, man. So shout out to North Carolina, Brandon Ingram. He's that dude, man. Unbelievable basketball player, great skills. Like I said, I see him as a mix between Jordan and Durant, man. I said it before in my previous videos. You can check it out. I'm not gonna lie to you, or that's what it is. That's that dude. And I really think they should have implemented more Hayes. They should have kept Hayes and Valanciunas and really went big, because I really think that Phoenix had a lot of problems with that. I mean, honestly, Phoenix is not a big team, and they really have a lot of when they're facing more strength, you can tell that they kind of shy down, and that's really what it's going to take to beat that team, because they do have solid fundamentals. But I hate to see such a great team like Phoenix reverting to dirty tactics, especially in their leadership. It's just not cool, man. I'll just put it that way. Here again, Dallas beat Utah. Now, Utah, dude, there is so much fundamentally wrong with what they were doing. Like, first off, you got one of the biggest guys in the league. You're not even using him on offense. That's stupid. There's no other nice way to put that. People want to blame this person, blame that person. Like, no, blame the team out there. Donovan Mitchell, you got a huge monster in Rudy Gobert, man. Again, I always go back to the Olympics. Did you even watch what your teammate was doing in the Olympics, bro? Did you see how he was dominating? Did you see how they feed him in the paint? Give him some touches, give him some look. This man got you if you give him the freaking chance. He's not out there just to fucking get the boards and just run up and down the court and cover your ass on defense. That's all they do. They just use him as backup on defense, man. Like, that's so stupid. He could be the centerpiece of that team. I really think he needs to be somewhere where they can honor that, because Utah is just not doing it. And Utah's one of those teams that dies by the three. They don't live by it, man. Honestly, let's call it what it is. They just have too much emphasis on the perimeter, and you can see where it's gotten them nowhere, dude. Because that shit doesn't fly when it comes into tight game situations. It doesn't fly. In real, I'll call it real basketball, with what they're playing here where it comes down to more strategy, and adjustments in the playoffs. I mean, you're playing at the highest level. You can't just bet everything on the perimeter game. It just doesn't work like that. And people that pull out this false narrative about the percentages and 3 is more than 2, it doesn't work like that, dude. You need to be more. You need to be more of an economist to understand. Or a mathematician to break it down. I could do it simply as if you make. I don't even want to give this away because people just don't even understand or respect it, man. But you can't bet on the 3-point shot, man. You're shooting it at 40%. And on a great day, you might go. I mean, there is a rarity where you go above and beyond that, but it's not likely. So you're just going up, throwing bricks, and putting nothing on the board for numerous possessions. Whereas you can be hitting a 70, 80, 90% shot, getting down into the paint, looking for an open shot, and you can secure even, okay, what's better? 7? Let's just go at a minimum of 7 or 4. It shouldn't be hard to answer, right? 70% is better than 40%, and that's being generous on both ends. Generous for a 40% shot of 3, which is really more like 35, 30, averaging, and then 70% shot attacking the paint, which that's really more generous on the lower end. So, factoring in for contests and everything. So it's just, people just don't, they just want to follow the trends, and that's really, where does that get you? Out of the playoffs, watching at home, dude. So Utah needs to figure that out. They're a great team. They have great capability and potential, but it just hasn't been working out, man. You got that big threat down low. You utilize it, man. Here, Denver, man, what's going on with Denver? I don't know. They got them one game here, but Nikola Jokic just wasn't enough, and this series it was out of hand, man. Unfortunately, Denver did put up a good fight, but you can see Golden State has won that in advance, and they are now playing the Memphis Grizzlies, which is my favorite personally. Young up and coming squad. I've been talking about them for quite some time. They have solid fundamentals, but in this game here, they kind of threw all the fundamentals and their principles out the window, man. Honestly, this was a great series to watch. There's a lot of young stars, but they knew that and they played accordingly. Meaning they just, like I said, they're basically just, y'all know all that shit that we've been doing all year. That's made us a great team. We threw all that shit out the window, and they've been playing a lot of isolation basketball. I think they took it to a really personal, where they had Anthony Edwards, this up-and-coming star, versus John Morant, which is, on the rise currently, MVP conversation type of player caliber. All-stars. They had young all-stars on their team as well. Patrick Beverley kind of putting that dogfight mentality on the Wolves, man. A wolf fight, really, man. He is a wolf out there, man. I mean, he was definitely leading the troops and empowering them, honestly. But I hated to see Memphis really just throwing all their fundamentals out the window and just getting into that isolation. You go, I go, you go, I go. Let's put the spotlight on somebody. So I think that series lasted a little bit too long. Unfortunately, which is only 2 games, but when you're facing Golden State the way that they're playing right now, now obviously mentally, the Memphis Grizzlies are in the Golden State Warriors' mind, because they did just knock them out. The Memphis Grizzlies were able to, so this is kind of a rematch redemption for Golden State, looking to get back into the conference finals. This is the semifinals, so this is a great season for the Memphis Grizzlies. Being that they've been rising up each bracket from year to year, so their progress is astronomical. For Dallas too, this is everybody always wants to be on Luka Doncic. He's a great player, but I think there's just a little bit too much emphasis there. Give him time to develop. He is another one of those that I see that really just tries to flop entirely too much. It's excessive, but the skill is there for sure. This is going to be a tough one. We're going to see that there's going to be excessive flopping on both ends. I can expect that. Watch, I called it. You heard it here, man. Take a look out for that. So this may be one that I kind of don't really want to watch, to be honest. That's just my personal opinion. I really more will favor this explosive, dynamic style of basketball here between both of these teams. I can see this one getting real down and dirty. Solid basketball here. Now, we got the first round in the Eastern Conference. Again, man, I really was upset with what I was seeing from MIA. They were bully ball. Again, this political influence, being one of what they would consider basketball royalties, with a franchise with numerous championships versus an up-and-coming young franchise, which I hate to see that, man, because, I just really feel that ATL has a solid basketball team and could be doing a lot of good. As far as when you look at the actual influence on the youth of their style of play, they play good basketball. Trae Young, they try to make him out to be a bad guy, but it's because he's not. honestly. They try to make him out to be a bad guy because he is not. Because he's overcome so much to get to where he's at. They try to force him to be a bad guy and spin this narrative about he's a bad guy. It's so stupid, dude, with what these media outlets do. They're not slick. They're not sneaky. They try to make them embrace that role that they thrust upon these players, and he's just a good dude, man. He's just out there balling, breaking ankles, man. He's just mad. People are just upset because he was balling out, and Miami just does dirty tactics that basically throw flagrant fouls on these players that are not going to be called because they got their influence secured, basically. So here, these teams are balling, man. Toronto put up a good fight. They were able to snag 2 wins from Philly to really make that go a lot longer than it needed to go. Now, Philly is a little bit under the microscope with all their expectations, again, being one of these solid franchises with championships under their belt. Historic franchise with players like Allen Iverson, Julius Erving, just to name a couple, man. I mean, the list goes on and on. But now with all that being said, with the trade of James Harden currently being on the Philadelphia 76ers, it's there's a lot of expectations, of course. I mean, he's a former MVP. Again, these media networks just say the most ridiculous shit when you hear him, man. Especially ESPN, they say the most James Harden is not explosive. Okay, he comes out, bam, dunks on a mug. I mean, what you gonna? James Harden is fat. Like, what, dude? Have you seen your anchors, dude? Like, come on, man. Like, it's crazy. I give them a little bit of respect. They got a little bit better with I like the NBA Today show. Shout out to that. I mean, Richard Jefferson, a true baller out there, even though he's a little crazy. I mean, he's an actual baller, man. You can respect it. They just recently added Vince Carter, which is a necessity for that network. If they hadn't done that in basketball, they really would be lacking. And then they just added JJ Redick too, which actually brings some rationality. I mean, to the network. So he gives a more critical, honest. I mean, there's always a debate on what is honest, but what I mean is a more critical, analytical aspect into the interpretation of what's going on. So I really appreciate that. So they're getting a little bit better, man. But I mean, it's just, you guys know who they are. These ridiculous anchors on this network making these outrageous claims, just force feeding you to eat their bullshit. I just refuse, man. But anyway, this was a great series. Unfortunately, Chicago had a very strong rise up the ranks in early on in this season, and unfortunately, Lonzo Ball wasn't able to contribute, which he was a really, really big factor on that team. You can see they have a bright future up ahead, but they did come out of nowhere and make some noise and sustain it to reach that 6th seed, which is a very plausible achievement to not have to play into the play-in and solidify their rank. So unfortunately, they had to face the champs, And again, this team, Milwaukee, is just pure balling right now, man. Straight balling. So I still find them as the favorite. I know there's some noise here and right here. Swept. These mugs out in Brooklyn got swept. Kyrie Irving, swept. Kevin Durant, swept. That's what I'm saying. That's crazy. Who could have seen that coming? So it's like, it just goes to show you, man. Brooklyn, they came out, played hard, played as a team. They finally made that adjustment on defense to where they're not so much isolation ball, man, where it's not just no passes. I mean, no assists coming from Tatum and Brown. That's really, I mean, I saw that one for a long time as well. They just, Marcus Smart had to call him out, man. You got to talk to your teammates. You got to have that real talk with them, man. You got to be able to have that. Like, look, man, you never pass the ball, man. You're making stupid decisions. You need to get your teammate involved. You know you're getting double team, triple team, because they know you ain't never gonna pass it, man. So once you finally have that talk, make those adjustments, start playing defense, hold your teammates accountable. Look at the outcome. Number 2 seed, and I could have never seen that coming. Never. Number 2. That's wild. So shout out to that organization for turning things around, and They had the better team, not the better stars. So in basketball, it's a team sport still, man. It's not singles. You're not playing 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. It's a team sport, and it's not even 5-on-5. You gotta play your whole roster. So even these teams that you'll see that they only have a five, that what's gonna happen? You're gonna experience degradation in their endurance, and wear and tear on your athletes, and you're not giving them you're not letting them have time to refresh, rejuvenate. You need to incorporate your entire roster. You need to give them some rest, whether they want it or not, because it's good for them. So I'm like, yeah, don't take me out, coach. Don't take me out. Well, I understand that, man, but we need you. So I'm taking you out so we can use you later. Give your teammate a chance, man. So it's just, you just mentally have to impose a sound strategy all around, and you have to utilize your entire roster, man. Otherwise, what do you got? It's just empty spaces. What's your roster for if you're not going to use them? So that's my take on it, man. So there's the first round. We got Milwaukee facing the Boston Celtics. We've got MIA versus Philly. So these are going to be some, in the East, amazing matchups. Now, looking back at the beginning of the season, I would not have seen Dallas. I do credit a lot to Jalen Brunson and Jason Kidd. Brunson, a former champ, man. He is a baller, man. Like, I've been trying to say it for a while, man. People just want to talk about Luka. Well, dude, if you look at what the rest of his teammates have been doing, man, it is outrageous. Brunson makes smart decisions, plays great defense, makes incredible shots, drives to the baskets. It's wild. But here, even though they just went back, Phoenix is a solid team. They do have the best record in the league. You got to give them that. But I think they kind of let that get to their head, and I really, really feel Memphis could be the one to come out here, make it into the. Golden State's playing great basketball too. This is tough out here, but I really give it more to Memphis. I really see them coming out of the West. So let's see if I'm right or not. But like I said, they have a little bit more money, funding influence here. They got a lot of star power here, and one player. This, is a former franchise dynasty, so they have a lot of influence as well. And this is a young up-and-coming squad. I think they're going to try to impose that upon them and make them stop here, to make them work towards step-by-step progression. But honestly, skill-wise and fundamentals and just all-around solid team, out of all of these, I really think that the Grizzlies have that, and they could be the ones to win it all. Honestly, it's going to be tough. I don't know how they would match up versus somebody like Milwaukee, which is who I'm picking to come out of the East still. Hats off to Boston. Miami, I just don't. Like I said, even though they have, I think this is a little bit of an inflated, this number one seed. They're a great team, but I don't see their tactics, their little bully ball strategy working against Milwaukee. I'm telling y'all, man, the weight room is a real deal, and Milwaukee takes everybody to the weight room, man, and tells them to get their weight up. Milwaukee is just a beast basketball team, and they're tall. They got great skills. They got a solid offense. They got that. What do you want to call it? A nebula of a talent in Antetokounmpo. You just never seen anything like him. He can do it all now, man. He's been polishing up his game. So shout out to the former Finals MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. I say he's the best in the game right now, man. You can argue what you want, say what you want, but he's got it all. He's got that jump shot. He's got that interior threat. Great passing skills. He's popping the three. He's strengthened up his free throw. He's just an all-around solid threat. Truly. So I really feel anybody's going to have a hard time defeating and dethroning the former champs. I don't quite see anybody able to do it here in the East. Now, the way that Boston's playing, they may put up a good fight, but I really see it. I believe it could be out of these teams, Memphis and Milwaukee. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. I mean, I think that would make for the best basketball game in the finals. But hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. And stay balling, y'all. See y'all soon. Later.